What my wife means to say is that we moved from...
Moved from where? Married when? Damn it, why?
Oh, Arthur, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Am I dead?
No. Why would you think that?
Because you are.
We are an unusual couple, you know.
Oh, I don't think that was ever in question. Wanda, welcome home.
Vision residents.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This is going to be my new Wandavision trailer video. A lot of you were asking questions about the House of M Easter egg, so I'll explain that, why Vision has the Mind Stone again. There's a bunch of other Easter eggs in here too for X-Men stuff, so we'll break it down. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos too. We'll do a Disney Plus giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave your favorite Easter egg from the trailer on the video. There were even some of you asking about Fantastic Four Agatha Harkness setup because we're going to be getting a new version of the Fantastic Four in the MCU in the next couple of years, so I will address all that stuff during this. But obviously the big stuff first, the big House of M scene, because when they're sitting there at dinner pouring the wine bottle says Maison du Mépris. It's French. I don't speak French, so I'm probably butchering that pronunciation. But that literally translates to House of Contempt or House of M, because in French, the word mépris can also reference mistake or not getting something right, which is obviously a reference to this pocket reality that Scarlet Witch has created with Agatha Harkness. There was a Scarlet Witch clip of Elizabeth Olsen a while ago where she was narrating a lot of her comic book backstory, where she narrates the story of House of M, and it sounds a lot like what's going on in this trailer. So this is the clip, and think about how this applies to the actual trailer footage.
Scarlet's rampage finally ended when she was put into a trance by Doctor Strange, played by none other than Benedict Cumberbatch, coming soon to a television near you. The Avengers and X-Men decided she was too dangerous to live, and in an act of self-preservation, in House of M, Scarlet Witch created a new reality where mutants were the majority and Magneto was the ruler. But this too backfired, and Scarlet Witch was forced to take action, whispering the words, "No more mutants."
So when everyone thinks of House of M, they only think about the no more mutant situation, but you have to think about the whole theme and why they created House of M. Because the Avengers and X-Men decided that she was too dangerous to live, so they were going to kill her off. It was after Avengers disassembled, which is kind of what just happened in Avengers Endgame. The Avengers effectively disassembled until Avengers 5 when they created a new roster. Scarlet Witch lost her mind during that story, almost wound up killing the Avengers, so they decided that that's the end of it for her. But in order to save herself, she creates the pocket reality that is House of M, where mutants have supremacy on the Earth, and Magneto becomes the ruler. This is when Magneto is still her father. I know there's a lot of questions about that continuity in the comics and how they're going to incorporate that into the MCU with the new rebooted versions of the X-Men characters. Remember, this is the multiverse. They can make anything canon that they want through the multiverse. But as she says, within that pocket reality of House of M with all those mutants, things went completely off the rails, and that's what led her to the no more mutants scenario where she got rid of almost all the mutants inside the House of M reality. So during the WandaVision trailer, events just seem like they play out in a very similar way, with some twists to sort of incorporate the continuity from Avengers Endgame and what's happening after. So they end the movie, Vision is still dead, it seems like she just can't handle it, she's still not over his death. Agatha Harkness probably takes advantage of that because it seems like she's the antagonist of the series during the trailer. There might be other villains behind her, I'll talk about that in a second too, but right now all we know is that she seems like the antagonistic force that's trying to mess with them during this. But through their actions together, they create the alternate TV-based reality that she's living in here with Vision, and slowly, just like in the House of M comic book story, this reality starts to crumble around them, like you see them glitch out during the dinner here. Then that probably leads to another big No More Mutant style twist during the series, albeit a slightly different version of that. So during the comics, it was all about no more mutants. But in this series, because people are expecting Wiccan and Speed, the twins that she gives birth to here, to come into the main MCU reality, she could do a reverse No More Mutant style twist, where she finds a way to bring them out of the pocket reality into the main MCU universe. All of you have noticed that Vision still has the Mind Stone in his forehead, the Infinity Stone. Is it real? Because Thanos supposedly atomized the Mind Stone that was in his forehead before the events of Avengers Endgame, after he snapped the Infinity Gauntlet one last time after he arrived on that garden planet.
Where are the stones? He used the stones to destroy the stones.
So technically in the main MCU reality, after the events of Avengers Endgame when this series is taking place, the Mind Stone is still atomized, so how is it still in his forehead inside this reality? I'm guessing that it's just a twist of her reality warping abilities inside here, because we see her using her reality warping powers later in the trailer to change the layout of her living room. That also might have something to do with the Bewitched scene that they have earlier in the trailer when they're still in black and white in the 1950s looking TV show. So she talks to Vision about fitting in with their new life here, but then when he walks in the door looking like his android face, she makes the little motion like Samantha from Bewitched with her powers and changes his face so that it looks like a human face. So yes, there is a lot of Bewitched Easter eggs during this too, but I'm guessing because of all the different scenes here through the different decades of TV, they'll be referencing a bunch of classic TV series from all different eras of television. Zoom and enhance on the newspaper here that Vision is holding. A lot of you saw this text that says Little Baby June and wondered if that could be an Easter egg for June Covington, the Dark Scarlet Witch. I would not be surprised if that's the case. A lot of you are getting a Legion X-Men vibe from this. So if you didn't watch the Legion TV series, it was also another TV show that twisted reality in really weird ways using the main character's powers, the Legion character's powers. Scarlet Witch is going to be doing the exact same thing in this pocket reality, the TV dimension that she's living in. We get a little more information about this pocket reality in that Monica Rambeau scene too, because it seems like she's getting kicked out of the pocket dimension back into the normal MCU universe. It looks like Scarlet Witch's red energy that's throwing her out, so maybe she just does something to try and break the reality of the scenario. Like somehow try to get Scarlet Witch to admit that this isn't all real, Vision is supposed to be dead, and Scarlet Witch just can't handle it. She refuses to leave. No, he's alive, I have to stay here with him. There was a little confusion in this Monica Rambeau scene too in the comments, because when she gets punted through this barrier, it looks like she's getting kicked out of a TV screen, literally, because of the red, blue, green TV screen motif going on here. And when they cut to the scene of her on the ground looking up in that 1960s or 1970s looking clothing with the big afro, you actually see another version of Monica Rambeau standing with the other agents of S.W.O.R.D. and Ray Wise's character here. So there was a little confusion over whether or not there are actually two different versions of Monica Rambeau here, one from the alternate reality and one from the main MCU reality, or if it's just the one version of Monica Rambeau and the way they cut the trailer just makes it look like there's two different versions of her. My assumption there is that it's just one version of Monica Rambeau and they just cut the trailer in a weird way to make it seem like there are two different versions looking at each other. But we are talking about the multiverse here, so anything is possible. There have been a lot of crazy rumors about Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness. There was even a rumor that there's going to be an Iron Man cameo for the Tom Cruise version of Iron Man that they almost did in 1998. No joke, before Robert Downey Jr. made Iron Man in 2008, Marvel was trying to make an Iron Man movie back in the late 90s with Tom Cruise as Iron Man. Who knows what that would have looked like? I don't know if there's any truth to that, so I'm not planning on making a video about it or anything like that, but if they confirm any big details about other multiverse characters and cameos popping up, especially during Wandavision, of course I'll add it to my videos. It's not totally clear why they're going with the TV motif of this alternate reality, like maybe she's somehow watching TV, watching some sitcoms, watching people's lives play out, and she thinks about the life that she wanted for herself and how she can't have that because Vision is dead. How would they have children because he's an android? Would that even be possible? But through her actions and Agatha Harkness's actions, who's also a very powerful sorceress in her own right, they find a way to create this pocket reality where Scarlet Witch can use her reality warping abilities to make all those things come true, create the life for herself that she always wanted to have. That's where you bring it all back around to the whole House of M idea, creating a pocket dimension, a pocket reality where she can do whatever she wants. As for Agatha Harkness, Fantastic Four connections, I think anything is possible. They're just laying the seeds for a lot of early setup in Marvel Phase 4 here, and this is just the beginning. So I think they're just trying to create more of the S.W.O.R.D. story after Spider-Man Far From Home with the S.W.O.R.D. agency and Nick Fury. That's where Monica Rambeau comes in. I'm assuming if they're going to give her powers like she has in the comics, because she was a version of Captain Marvel at one point in Marvel Comics, they'll wait for the Captain Marvel sequel movie to do that. But I think in terms of connecting this to other big MCU movies, I think this is more connected to Doctor Strange 2 if we're talking about Agatha Harkness, because she's a magic user. Doctor Strange keeps a short list of all the most dangerous magic users on the planet. Agatha Harkness would probably be on that list. Like the license plate Easter egg says, 102, that's for Avengers 102, a story where Vision gets offered Wonder Man's body in exchange for turning on the Avengers. This time it might just be Agatha Harkness that's preying on Scarlet Witch, trying to tease her with the idea that she can bring Vision back to life, albeit through this really twisty alternate reality way. And Scarlet Witch will go directly from the end of WandaVision into Doctor Strange 2 as a big crossover character. But if they drop any more trailers before then, or we get any more information about that, of course I'll do videos. So leave all your requests in the comments below if you have any big questions about what's going on with WandaVision or the other series. Congratulations, Velathor, you're the giveaway winner for my last big Marvel video. Please email me on the About page of my channel so I can get your contact details. Everyone click here for my other WandaVision trailer video and Easter eggs, and click here for that new Chris Hemsworth Avengers 5 Thor 4 video. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe. I'll see you guys tonight.